Interesting deer head. I wonder what story it had. Oh, hey everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's on the Tube, or welcome back if you're just tuning in and curious what the hell have I been up to since we are currently in this weird COVID-19 hiatus. So if you're unaware, currently we usually do What's on the Tube. At least at this current time period, we do The Rookie, we do Nancy Drew, and we do Katie Clean episode reviews. This week, there was nothing, so I'm doing a bunch of one-offs, but if you only care about Katie Clean and you were just curious what's happening with that. So literally this came out while I'm in this weird period, so I'll just talk about it here and I'll talk about it again in the end. Katie Clean chapter reviews will be returning April 18th, because the CW has announced return dates as we're currently in this COVID delays, and so Katie Clean will be returning on April 18th. Well, April 16th on the CW. Our reviews April 18th. But however, it's still musical time. I've kind of set Saturdays to be musical days, so to speak. Hold on, I'm gonna lift the camera up because I don't feel there, close enough. Anyway, so to continue the theme of musical Saturday, and you can probably guess by the title, I'm going to be talking about the only boy band I've ever been interested in. And yes, as a human male, I'm allowed to like boy bands. It's Big Time Rush. My history with the band obviously came from the show. I mean, Nickelodeon pretty much made the band to make the show, and it was a really damn good show. I mean, I really would have loved if they had continued. I really would have loved if they continued with a fifth season, but you know, with all boy bands, like they have their moment of popularity and then they kind of dip. And today I'm going to talk about, I had just recently gotten Hulu because I had a very deep indulgence to watch my How I Met Your Mother. Again, very little upcoming episode of this show that I'll be talking about a little bit down the line. We're still a little bit ways away from there, but just know I'll talk about it someday, but it will be very soon. Well, not very soon, but I don't run the schedule. Things just happen. When we get close to it, I'll let you guys know. But anyway, so I got Hulu. And one of the shows that went on Hulu was Big Time Rush. And I'm like, oh my god, I haven't seen this show in like forever. I loved this show growing up. And I decided one night, screw it, I'm going to watch it. It'll probably take me months to get through this. It'll probably be just a background show. No, I actually binged through the whole series in like a week. It was still so damn good. And it still holds up after now 7 years off the air. It still really holds up well, and I missed that show. And that was a very specific time in my life. I sort of remember it, where the first few seasons were really hit home. Season 4 was kind of like, it was just more fun silliness with the band, and I don't know, it's just something. And also the creator Scott Fellows, oh my god, he made Net's Declassified, and I love that show. I would love to watch Net's Declassified someday. It's not on Netflix, it's not on Hulu, but that's a separate episode for a later time. And then his follow-up show that after that ended was Big Time Rush, and he was able to keep his comedic style, the usual tropes of his shows into this show, as well as combining the musical elements, the boy band element, and it just worked. Like every single character I loved, every single episode I loved. They had a bear, well, not a real bear, but you know what I mean. And I don't know, I just loved the characters, and I love the story they went on. Like, this is they honestly, because like there was another show about a boy band called Jonas on the Disney Channel. I can't even remember a single freaking plot point. They just keep changing things from those 2 seasons, and Big Time Rush just clearly was superior. I mean, in terms of successfulness, the Jonas Brothers still going on to this day. I mean, obviously they're more successful, but Big Time Rush, I believe, in my opinion, is kind of a really good rival to them. Until One Direction came out and ruined everything, but hey, at least Big Time Rush had their own show. Anyway, let's go to let's go through the weeds a little bit. I'm gonna guide you on my journey because there's a lot to talk about, a lot to say on the matter. So the show came out in 2009. First episode, my expectations were like very low. Again, 2009 me, I was starting middle school. Didn't really want to admit I liked this. Like, of course, like males usually never speak into, like, in my generation, boys, they don't really go after boy bands, you know, musicians that only specifically girls like. They don't really go for And I didn't really have a very fine taste of music then. I was still learning my taste. I mean, I like songs. I like certain songs like the Beatles because my dad grew up. My dad had played a lot of Beatles songs growing up, so that was kind of my only real musical my own musical background. Plus, of course, obviously High School Musical, which like that was very. So the point I was trying to make is that I never really had a very solid musical background growing up until this show came out. And I was like, you know what? I'm bored. I want to say it aired on Saturday nights. I had nothing to do. So I was like, you know what? I'm going to put this on. I'm going to see what this next... I think it was the first episode was an hour long. So let's see what this next hour took me. And I really liked it. The boys... they're called dogs in the show. I'm going to call them BTR. Every single member had their own unique flair. Like, Kendall was the leader, typical leader. You know, he's usually coming up with the schemes, the plans. Somehow he's always getting the first girl. You know, that sort of thing. But he was always cool. Like, he never tried to be cool, but he was always cool. James was definitely the pretty one, the more buff one. Even especially later seasons, he really he really defined his body. Like, as a man who just is still trying to improve their body, I respect him. And again, his sense of funniness was that his schemes to get girls, or at least advance his popularity. I relate to Carlos the most because he's Hispanic and go Hispanics, and I don't know, like he really was just so goofy, and it was like the phrase "nice guys always finish last," and he was always the nicest guy on the show. He was kind of the most not the best, smartest, but what can you expect? You can't have everything in this role. Logan being the smartest, he could have. This is like the very different direction, like career choice he could have made. Like, most likely to be a doctor, becomes a boy band member. Definitely was not. Gustavo, definitely. Oh my God, Stephen Glickman. Jesus Christ, is that guy a legend? I haven't seen him in any other projects since this one. I wonder what he's up to. I don't know, but Gustavo's always been like for me personally, the best character of the show. Well, one of the best characters of the show. He's always funny. He's always loud, which I can personally relate to. But like every adult that tries to be mean, he has a soft spot, and we get to learn that in later seasons. That this is this was the time, this was the group for him to start learning some real feelings. I'll say. And yeah, after the first episode, I just fell in love with the show, and they aired new episodes every Saturday. I recognized some previous Nickelodeon alumni. I think the person who plays Camille was on Zoe 101, so it was a clear, like obviously they were trying to differentiate the look. One was a very nerdy person, one is a very explosive, but also nice, extreme person, as I call it. You have Gordy from Ned's to classify Scott Phillips' previous series playing Buddha Bob, and it was like, Jesus, Gordy with a beard. There's something about Darren Nordis I really, really like. I really like... Darren Nordis is always like that. He's always playing the really funny characters very well, and that's just funny. There is the guy who plays Mr. Bitter. I've seen him on Malcolm in the Middle, which I had seen years ago, and I think he played Craig in that show, I believe, the guy who was trying to pine for Lois. Again, he plays a similar character here, and it's pretty funny. He's just more of a dickbag in this one. I think that's it for the alumni, if I can remember. But this show really got some really pretty big guest star. I mean, they got Snoop Dogg. They got Jordan Sparks when she was a big thing. Now, I'm not saying they're not currently big things. It's just for me, currently, the world of memes, the world of the internet, I don't know anything what they're doing right now. So that's what I mean. I don't know. I look at Fabio. Like, I never knew about Fabio until this show, and then I haven't even heard about Fabio since then. What has he done since then? I really don't know. And that's the thing that's weird about Nickelodeon show. They usually have the moments where actors are like really huge in, and then they just kind of dip off the face of the earth in terms of the mainstream relevant. It's not to say like they suck or anything, but it's really weird that majority of them we don't get to see them again, or at least maybe they don't do the big projects that at least would get them some sort of attention. And the songs, I think I can't talk about it's a musical show, so obviously I can't go that long without talking about the songs. I really can't. So when it comes to the songs, I loved every single one of them. I mean, I think I told a friend of mine this recently, is that I think I can pretty much do a good at least a good dozen of those songs fairly well. That's how very memorable they are and very catchy they were, and how impressionable I got back then. And the fact they had a story, like they actually had a legitimate story. That's the one thing a lot of like live action Nickelodeon, like that specific era. I'm not sure how it is right now because I dropped out of Nickelodeon and the Disney Channel stuff and the Cartoon Network. Well, not Cartoon Network, really. I just finished Steven Universe Future, but that's a separate episode for a later time. But in terms of like a serialized live action Nick or Disney show, it's fairly rare nowadays for them to have a more coherent story. Again, I don't know what the current shows are doing. I haven't watched since 2013. Like I think literally this is one of the last shows I watched before I started to take a dip off. But yeah, this show had a very definite story. I mean, it definitely had like obviously it's a Nickelodeon show, so they're gonna do funny episodes for the sake of being funny. But then there will be some really serious moments where we get some progression in the character, we get some progression in the story as they, especially season 1 was their rise to fame, their rise to being, popular, and the more should be like definitely season 1 felt like it was a very different beast to what we see in the later seasons because it showcased like season 1 was definitely them being underdogs, they're still working their way to be famous, to have people know their names. And then when we go to season 2, it definitely felt like a much more different show. Like it still felt like the same show we love, but it evolved to something else. It evolved to the next level, and it had to be, and it successfully worked. But I enjoyed season 1 well. But when you're comparing it to the more later season, I think it just falters by comparison because I think Season 2 is probably the best season of the show, not because of, I'm not saying season 3 or 4 sucked or anything, but it's like season 2 had the most amount of content because it had 29 episodes. Like, I think that was at the time where Nickelodeon was very bullish on their productions, like, just keep making more episodes, and then they started to slow down a little bit because, like, I don't know why, it's more fairly simple to, like, reduce the amount of content. I don't know, I guess network television has definitely changed in those, in recent years, especially during that era. That was kind of like the turning point. But when season 2 came out, every episode felt like an event. Every episode felt like, oh, now they're famous. What new scenarios are they going to get to? They dealing with fans, and dealing with money, and dealing with what else does season 2 cover? I completely forgot. I mean, I watched the show like 3 weeks ago, so but I have been watching a lot of other shows since then, so my memory's a bit hazy. But I still remember. I think Pranks was in 3. Sorry, I'm talking about how great Big Time Rush is, and I can't even remember half the episodes from season 2. Oh, they got Russell Crowe in the Beach Party one. That was pretty cool. Again, they keep getting these big names in Hollywood. There's like, how the fuck are you getting these people? Like, they probably would charge a fortune to be on a kid show, but it was pretty hilarious. But I think the episode that really elevated the show. Nope, no pun intended. I know there's a song later on in the series called Elevate. The thing that really put the show on a new level, especially it connected to me, especially during that time period, was the Big Time Breakup episode, where they treated that like a special. And I don't know technically it was just a regular episode, but I missed another character, like the whole Kendo Joe thing, kind of like there's always that one couple that sort of defines the show. Like you're always rooting for that couple, you're always rooting for them, and the Kendall Joe one was very nice. Like again, these are two polar opposite people that are attracted to each other by attraction, but there's just something that goes deeper, that they're willing to look past that to be together, and seeing that grow in the last full season and a half, you want to call it, and then showcasing a real life element that sometimes even couples in real life go through, is like the diverging of like dreams and paths and career choices that you want to take, and seeing them deal with that in a very logistical manner. Sure, it's a show, so they're gonna dramatify and comedify some certain elements of it, but it was fairly an accurate, representation of what they were going through. And seeing that episode and the song worldwide, oh my god, you have no idea. I think I've maybe contributed like 10 million views to the video. The song was just so perfect. It was so good. And I was dealing with some stuff at the time where it's like, spoiler about me, that time period, 2011, when that episode came out, I was not in a relationship. I had no romantic connection to anyone. It just, I was dealing with something that this song had helped me through. This song definitely made me feel better a bit. And the other thing is that this came out in June, so it was another telltale sign that it was like, yeah, this is... And also it was the end of my middle school career, so... Yeah, but that was a really good one. And then jumping back into the second half, I think the second half is a little bit more unmemorable. I think that's when they started to turn the show to something more different. They introduced the Lucy character, and it was a very mishmash of like what she was doing. And then eventually seeing them do the movie. Oh my god, yeah, they got a movie. Yeah, Big Time Movie. I actually got confused. Like, I thought Big Time Movie was not available on Hulu, so I was like, oh, I gotta go to Netflix. So I watched it on Netflix. I go back to Hulu. Oh no, it's there. I was just too lazy to search it up. And Big Time Movie was pretty cool. I'm not sure they actually filmed in London, but it definitely had the production quality of a movie. And it was cool for them to get a feature length treatment. It was pretty cool. And they also got the cast of Power Ranger actor, and it was also in Cloak and Dagger. Emma Love. I can't pronounce the name. Her name is Emma. No wait. Oh no wait. Oh crap. No, I'm right. It's Emma. I forgot the last name though. I correct me. I'm sorry if I'm yawning. I had an 8-hour shift at work, so I'm a little bit tired, worn out, but that's not going to affect the quality. So, but then we jump to season 3. Shorter episodes, more tighter season. But they start to lose a little bit. Like, some episodes really focus on the serialized stuff. Like, we got a 2-parter in the middle of season 3. Well, actually, the Bel Air episode was pretty funny. I never saw Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but even them singing a rendition of the Bel Air song was like pretty funny. And seeing Fabio again was, oh my god, so hilarious. And I'll also, before I continue, I apologize if I'm skipping episodes. I'm not doing a very coherent review of this. I'm just talking about my memories and talking about how great the show is, even still back then to now. But it was really like things for season 3 started to really improve again, and it was another like crucial moment. Well, not really crucial moment. It was definitely another helpful way in a very realistic situation where Kendall had kissed Lucy, so it felt like, oh, those two are going to finally be together. And then Joe comes back and I was like, that was like kind of the biggest twist I've ever seen in my life. It's like, hold on, why is she back? You wrote an entire episode about her leaving, and now you're bringing her back. I don't know why, but that was kind of like a trying episode, since obviously Kendall. I don't get why. Here's the thing. I'm going to go on a side tangent here. I don't know why I yawn during these reviews. Like, literally, I don't yawn before this or after this. But it has to be during this review process where it's like, I have to yawn. I don't know why. But anyway, so the whole Kendall, Joe, and Lucy thing was something that fans of, like, it was kind of hard because, like, it's like a very big a reference to the long-time fans versus the short-time fans. Where the longtime fans knew about Kendall and Joe, they knew about them, and they fell in love with them. But if you're just a more recent casual viewer, you only know Lucy, and it's like, oh, they belong together. But like the old time fans, like, no, they belong together. So we kind of, who would he choose? And for me personally, he picked correctly with Joe. I mean, personally, he did. And then seeing the awkward ramifications of that decision and even the fallout of the kiss definitely sprung a little bit deeper into the next episode. And then later on the season, the second half of season 3 didn't really. It was funny, but it didn't really stand out in the way I was hoping for with season 2 and some of season 1. And the blooper show one, I'm not a big fan of it. Like, I know I love bloopers, but it was like, were they really that, like, we had, like, all Nickelodeon shows, they have to do the obligatory clip show at some point during the production run, but they could have really saved it. They didn't really need this. And then season 4, I think season 4 was just like, yeah, they just don't give a damn anymore. Like, I'm not saying the show went bad. It's just saying that they really went to some pretty crazy scenarios, considering that they knew this was the last season. The story, like, I don't know, like, season 4 definitely did not, it definitely didn't exactly encapsulate me. Like, it kind of felt like a continuation, but it didn't really feel like this was, like, a finite end. This was just, like, standard Nickelodeon, you're getting your 4th season, finish it up, wrap it up, whatever you want. And, I mean, seeing Kendall and Joe and Lucy come back, and James still pining for Lucy, another thing I missed over. And and Carlos's ever growing quest to finally get a girlfriend, because like Carlos literally, like, it's weird. Carlos finds is with many attractive people, but he's never able to keep them. It's always weird. And yeah, I can't really remember much about season, like the majority of season 4 for some reason. I'm really blanking on it. And there was a whole series of prank videos. But I don't know why the pranks. Why do I do this to myself? Why do I yawn during these? I mean, there's still some pretty funny episodes. There really are. I mean, there was the one where Kendall tried to teach Joe to drive a car or a stick. I don't even know how to drive a car, so I can't even do car things. Them doing the tip. I think the last thing they covered, like specifically in terms of reference to real life, was the whole like the boy band breaks up and then they split off into their own solo careers, and they explored that, but it was like they were going to break the norm. But for me personally, they should have done that as a way to set up season 5, where season 5 should have been them fighting to keep. And that's the thing. Like, I love Big Time Rush to the point like I would have loved a proper 5th season just to have a proper conclusion. Because the way a lot of season 4 was set up was that you're setting up other boy bands, you're setting up other new obstacles for them to go through. And then you're introducing elements that would have really paid off in a 5th season. It really would have. I mean, not to say the award show finale wasn't great, but it just, I don't know what I wanted from the ending. I guess I just wanted them to, like, have a finite conclusion. And not to say the last episode wasn't bad or anything. I mean, they brought back Alexis Vega? No, yeah, Alexis Vega. She played Cameron from the Spy Kids movies. And she actually is dating Carlos in real life. And I was like, wow. That worked out fairly well. And I don't know, it's like again, season 2 was probably the best season because they managed to keep that story going throughout the full second season. Then the season 3 and 4, they were like, okay, we're just gonna focus more on the wacky stuff. We'll come back to the story stuff, but it's not gonna like really pay much of a focus. And yeah, I mean, again, I'm not trying to insult season 4. I'm not trying to insult season 3. I'm just saying season 2 was still probably the best season. But still, season 4's finale, the series finale, was still pretty good. Seeing the whole character, it's still funny that the last episode of season 4, like one of the Jennifers, another one of those running tropes, like these are 3 very over dramatic Jennifers who are trying to bring into the movie business. One of them literally is gone. Like, this is the final episode of the show, and you just say, "Fucking, we're not gonna have all 3 Jennifer. We're just gonna have 2 and a cardboard standout." Oh my god, I don't even know what happened there. They had an excuse, but I don't remember the excuse. But I think some of my favorite stand-up episodes was beyond that was the Christmas special. We have to see Miranda Cosgrove too, and see a very weird Alvin and the Chipmunks parody. That Big Time Break, obviously, in the fall single. That was a pretty cool two-parter, very dramatic one. The movie definitely stood out in my opinion. Bel Air, the decisions and the surprising decisions two-part that went pretty well. Actually, the bloopers one was about to start with a Big Time Bear episode. I'm like, yes, finally, we're getting an episode about a bear, and it was like, no, we lost the episode. Like, why do you keep doing this to me, Nickelodeon? Why do you keep doing this to me? Why do you keep screwing me over? Anyway, where was I? I lost my train of thought here. And of course, I'm missing some very selective. These are the things. I am not a very coherent series reviewer. I'm still learning how to do this. I'm doing my best here, guys. But I really enjoyed Big Time Rush. It's still very much like if I was going to sing, I would probably sing one of their songs because it's just so damn memorable. And not to say any other boy band couldn't compete. It's just for me personally, I have a very specific taste, and for some reason they filled in that taste. They really did. And yeah, I really enjoy the show. I probably will binge it again at some point in the near future because it's just so damn good. And I was really hoping like one day they do a reunion. And I still think they will. If Jonas Brothers can come back, they can come back. Nickelodeon, come on, do it. Just do it. Do a follow-up series. Do something. Come on, bring them back. What are they doing right now? What do they do? I mean, I know James Maslow, his actual actor, he's going to be in Katie Clean, which is another reason why I'm setting this up. We'll see James's story continue in Katie Clean. Not the real, you know what I mean. You know what I mean. But I would still love a reunion. I would love to be one at that concert if they ever do one. But again, with the current climate, I don't think that's on anyone's radar anytime soon. And yeah, 2 thumbs up for me in my book. A great show, very memorable one. Scott Fellows always makes those great shows. I know he made a follow-up show after this, but I never watched it. Maybe I will someday. I don't really know. But anyway, I think that's it. I think I've covered it. Big Time Rush is available on Hulu. 2 thumbs up. Go watch it. It's great. I would buy the DVDs, but there aren't any DVDs because Nickelodeon's weird. Stop being weird, Nickelodeon. Shout Factory, do a full series release. Do it. Do it. I'll buy it. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for me, guys. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching this series review episode of What's on the Tube. If you want to know what's coming up overall on What's on the Tube, we do the rookie episode reviews every Monday after a brand new episode on Sundays on ABC, which, thankfully, it'll be coming back. I have no clue if it's been affected by the coronavirus delay. They didn't say anything about it. So I think we're just running to the end, hopefully, but also no announcement on Season 3 renewal, so they better do that. We also do Nancy Drew episode reviews every single Thursday after its brand new episode on Wednesday on the CW, which also is coming back this Wednesday. Hallelujah! But however, for that. So from what I'm hearing is that Nancy Drew's will not be resuming its first season production until after this is all over. So I think they shut up to episode 20. I could be wrong. So we might only get a few more episode reviews, and then we'll have to take a break. Because I don't know how that's going to work, because that really messed up my plans. This whole coronavirus thing God, it was hard. Please check out the Let Joe Talk episode. I talked about it. Please check that out. I had a lot to say on that, so check that out. But yeah, that really fucking sucked. That really sucked that it had to affect so many people, so many shows, everything's been affected by the coronavirus. But for the moment, Nancy Drew episode reviews will be returning this Thursday. However, Katie Clean is still sadly going to be on break for another week. So, for all of you at home, what am I doing next time to continue Musical Saturdays? Well, I've been debating long and hard on this. I was thinking about doing Naked Brothers Band, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to binge this entire show. I have a very complex history with this show. I don't want to do it just quite yet. However, what I can talk about is that we're going to jump back to the origins of Musical Saturdays. Yes, you know what I mean. I was debating how this would work, but I decided, you know what, I have a legitimate reason, and I'll explain this more next time. But next time on Musical Saturdays on What's on the Tube, I will be reviewing a proper review of High School Musical 1. Yes, you heard me correct. I will be doing an entire movie review of High School Musical 1. But wait, isn't that a movie, not a TV show? You figure out next week to figure out why I say that. And my battery is about to die, so I'm going to do it here. I'm going to end it here. So anyway, again, thank you guys so much for watching this edition of What's on the Tube. If you want to see more What's on the Tube, please subscribe to ActionX. Please ring the bell for notification when we have a new episode live. Like, favorite, share this review if you please. And also follow us on all of our social media feeds, including Twitter and Twitch. And I'll see you guys next week. Because you gotta live it big. Yeah, I butchered that. I butchered that very well, huh?